Okay, hi guys. So I decided to make a video today about why I say YAHUSHA and not the name Jesus. So I have 3 reasons that I've written down today with some scriptures going with it. But guys, there are more reasons to this and more scriptures that you could go back into and that are, congruent to what I'm saying. I have 3 reasons, but I might do a number 4 because I just thought of it in my head, like historically, I will explain that if I remember to, go back and think about that. But I am like always forgetting, so sorry I'm messing with my hair. Like my ends right here aren't braided all the way and they're just coming, I haven't washed my hair in a while. It needs to get washed. Wash day was supposed to be last week, but I didn't do it. Okay, so reason number 1 is they are 2 different people, and what I mean by that is they say 2 different things, as well as their appearances are different. So in religion, in religion, Jesus says there's no more law, and he's depicted as a European Greek man. But YAHUSHA in the scripture says you keep the law, and he is depicted as brown skin, dark brown skin, what they call a black man. He's depicted as that with hair as wool, like a sheep. And we know that people that are black have textured hair similar to that of sheep wool. So let's go ahead and get into some scriptures that go with what I'm speaking of. So we're going to go to Matthew 5. Let's go ahead. I have my handy dandy scriptures right in front of me, so let's go into Matthew 5. It might be a while because I have the Sefer and it doesn't have like the little tabby things, so let me go ahead and get into Matthew. I love the book of Matthew. So I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. I started reading the scripture, I started reading it like start from beginning to end. So I'm currently in the book of Samuel right now. And, I've read everything else before that. And I've done this before. Like I had to go back and go through and then restart, because that's what it was, I was convicted to go back and restart. But don't get it twisted, I have been inside of the other scriptures, beforehand. I go in and, I'm looking for certain things. Like I went into the book of Revelation because, I wanted to, just get, we're living in the days of Noah. We're living in end times. So, I will go in and I will look and I fact check. And I'm telling you right now, do not trust in man. There's so many scenarios like I can just bring up and things out of the scriptures where people trust in man and bad things happen. So do not trust in man. I want you to go back and go in the word and verify what everyone is saying, if it's true or not, if it matches with the word. And don't go and just isolate scripture and make it to what you believe. Take it in context. What is it actually saying? And that's something that I do not do. I do not do that. So, oh my goodness, why are they mowing? So when you hear these scriptures, go back, look, read it. I want you to go back and look and verify what I'm saying to be true. Anyways, so we're going to Matthew 5. Let's see, Matthew 5 verse 17. And I'm just going to go ahead and read 17 through 20. Think not that I have come to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I have not come to destroy, but to fulfill. So be it, I say upon you, till heaven and earth pass, not 1 yard or 1 tittle shall in no wise pass from the Torah till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So, for I say upon you that expect your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes, and Perstium, you shall in no case enter the kingdom of heaven. So what does religion tell you? It tells you not to keep the Torah. It tells you not to keep the commandments. You know, I remember hearing, this is personal experience, someone saying you only have to keep 2 commandments because YAHUSHA, he said that the first and the second commandments were the most important commandments, and that all the rest follows. So they said that because he said those 2 commandments were the most important, that all the other commandments are done away with. That's what they said. They literally took the scripture and twisted it and made it into their own doctrine. And that is evil. That is blasphemous. It's putting words in his mouth that he did not even say. So, yeah, let's go also to, what is my next one? I have notes right here. Yeah, he says he didn't come to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. What does it mean? What does it mean to fulfill? Fulfill and abolish are 2 different words. Complete. He completed the law. Do you know what that means? That's something else I'm going to talk about, because most people in religion don't know or understand what fulfillment of the law means. But I'm not going to get into that, because right now I need to stay on track, but I can keep going. Let's go to Revelations. And this is about his image, what he looks like. Let's see. Revelations. I don't have my little Revelations. And this is how YAHUSHA is described in the scriptures. Let's go here. Okay, chapter 1, 14 through 15. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like upon fine brass, as if they were burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. So YAHUSHA was not white. He wasn't a white man. Let's go back and see what it said. His feet like fine brass, as they were burned in a furnace. When you look at black people who are heavy melanated, and I do this because I don't believe in race theory. Race theory is a doctrine of man-made. It is not real. We are not divided by race. It's made up. Anyways, but yeah, when you look at melanated people, their undertone, they have a brassy brown undertone, right? That's literally, he is not a white man. But when you look in religion, he's a white man with long, straight hair. That does not correlate to what scripture says. And it doesn't correlate to him having woolly hair. either. So I want you guys to sit on that, think on that. Okay, the next one is that YAHUSHA says he is the Son of God. He says he is the Passover Lamb. He says he is the Lion of Judah. He says he is our high priest. He says he sits at the right hand side of YAHUAH. But Jesus says he is Lord. He says he is Lord. Lord means Baal, but let's not get into that. Anyways, so let's go to John chapter 5, verse 45. I mean, John and Matthew and the book of Hebrews really got receipts on this. Like, if you want to know. Okay, John. Sorry, guys. This isn't just... These ones don't have the little tabs. Okay, chapter 5, verse 45. Okay, here we go. Do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. There is no one that accuses you. Wait, this isn't it. Am I in chapter 5? Yeah, I'm in the wrong one. I think this was First John. Yeah, why does this look like this? I don't think it's chapter 5. Like, because I know, like, when you've seen it before, that it doesn't look. Oh, it's not 40. Guys, it's not 45. Here we go. It's 43. Okay, so it says, I have come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you shall receive. So what does he say? I come in my Father's name. Is he saying he is the Father? Does he say he is the Father? I mean, is he saying he's the Father there? That's just... He comes in his Father's name. Does the name Jesus come in the name of YAHUAH? Does it? Jesus is a Greek pagan name. YAHUSHA is an ancient Israelite name. What would you pick from? I mean, this is common sense. YAHUSHA means YAHUAH is salvation. He is literally, his name is literally coming in YAHUAH's name. I'm not making this up. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Okay, let's go to John 12. Like I said, John, Matthew, Hebrews, John 12. Okay, it was 49. Okay, it says, for I have not spoken for myself, but the Father which sent me. He gave me a commandment, what I shall say, and what shall I speak. And I know that his commandments is life everlasting. Whosoever I speak thereof, even as the Father said upon me, so I speak. Is he saying that he is the Father and that he is speaking? No, he's saying the Father is speaking through him. Everything that he says is the Father. It is not of his own. So is he the Father? Or is he delusional? Because he would have to be a crazy person to be speaking like that. The Father speaks for him. He is not the Father. He is the Son. And I'm just going to bring up this real quick. That Trinity doctrine, that man-made Trinity doctrine, is going to be sending a lot of people to hell who believe in that. Because if you look in the scriptures, It is not valid. It is not valid. Right here, this scripture and the last one that I just said, it is not valid. Like, come on, it's right here. Okay, let's go to Hebrews. Hebrews is the bread and butter. If you want to know what's the difference between, this is Christian talk, Old Covenant and New Covenant, baby, it's not old, it's not ooh, it's the same covenant, it's just fulfilled. But y'all don't know that, right? Okay, let's go to Hebrews. And I love Hebrews. I've been up in Hebrews, highlighting like crazy. I need new highlighters. I'm serious. Okay. I'm trying to be funny, guys. Make it a little funny. Okay. Let me find it. And I honestly cannot wait. I have to do the whole flippy. I honestly cannot wait to, you know, get more into the scriptures. Hopefully I'm able to finish this video today because my kids and stuff. So okay, let's see. So in the book of Hebrews, he says he sits at the right hand side of the Father. So let's see. I'm trying to find the one where he says he puts him at the right hand. I should have actually looked at this before, but I wanted to speak of this. Okay. This is YAHUAH basically telling us in the book of Hebrews the difference between the old covenant and the new covenant, and what Yahusha's purpose was, what his job is. Did you know he is our high priest? The Passover Lamb, Lion of Judah. Do you understand what that means? These names, these nicknames. Okay, this is in chapter 2, and it is a little bit of him just basically going over what, you know, he is, what his job is for us. Okay. When they say son of Adam, they be talking about Yahusha. So here we go. What is man that you are mindful of him, or the son of Adam that you visit him? You made him a little lower than YAHUAH. You crowned him with glory and honor, and set him over the works of your hands. You have put all things in subject under his feet. This is YAHUAH. This is Yahusha. YAHUAH crowned him with glory, made him a little lower than YAHUAH. You know, he's talking about Yahusha. Jesus is called God, and he's connected to the Trinity doctrine. That is not in here. Okay. So just hearing that was in Hebrews. This is in chapter 2, verse 6 through 8. I'm gonna just let y'all have that and just think on it. And you guys really should get in. If you think the Trinity is real, you really need to read the book of Hebrews, because you know the confusion is because of religion, their indoctrination, their lies, their made up doctrines. But anyways, in here, not only in Hebrew is his status, his ranking, you know, where he is at with the Father. You know, he's right here, he's the right hand, he sits at the right hand side of him. It says that in the book of Hebrews. Calls him the Passover Lamb, calls him our high priest. Do you understand the significance, the correlation? Do you see the correlation between the Passover Lamb in Egypt and also YAHUSHA being our Passover Lamb? Because if you're looking at it like Jesus is God, then there would be no reason to have the Passover Lamb or none of that. It just doesn't even go with the foundation here. Okay, so let's go to also, here's another verse. This is in Matthew. I do not remember where it's at in Matthew, but it's when they're all, you know, sitting and they're asking him. It's actually around, here we go. So this is my binder, guys. So every time I read, I put, you know, look how cute this is, guys. I put the date, the chapter, the title, I put keyword, summary, I do a reflection and a prayer. So these are every ones that I've read. I try to do 5 chapters at a time. But I have some here, right here. So this is in Matthew, and this is around Matthew because I remember it, where he says, let's see, he says, don't pray to the, he says, do not bow down to me. He says, do not pray to me, pray to the Father. So if he was the Father, why wouldn't he let them bow down to him and pray to him? Okay, and here's another one also in Matthew. This one is really good verse. This is verse 7:21. Not everyone that says, Adonai, Adonai, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that does the will of my Father, which is in heaven. Why didn't he say, who does my will? No, he says, my Father who is in heaven. Come on now. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the word. To let my dog inside. She is getting a little hot and I am too. Look how cute. I love horses, I love dogs, I love animals. Okay, third was, it's so loud. The third reason is the third reason is YAHUAH sanctified his name. So if he sanctified his name, he sanctified the Son's name too. Because YAHUAH's name is in the Son's name. That YAHUAH's name and YAHUSHA's name is sanctified. You can go in Genesis. And again, John chapter 5 verse 43. What did he say? He said he come in his Father's name. His name is sanctified. You cannot change his name. This is another thing. You cannot change the Father's name to Lord. You can't change YAHUAH's name to Lord. You can't change YAHUSHA's name to Jesus. You cannot do it. It is sanctified. You are not God. You cannot change what is sanctified by YAHUAH. You cannot do it. And also, Also in the scriptures, it says not to add or take away from the scriptures. You cannot add or take away from it. So how are you changing his name as well? So he sanctifies his name, and he says you cannot add or take away from the scriptures. And also he says you will forget his name and change his name to Lord, which is Baal. What's the coincidence that Lord means Baal? There is no coincidences. So anyways, where was I at? So there is no way that the name can be changed by man. We are not God. We are not Yahuwah. So anyways, here's another point of view. Historically, 4. We're going to do 4. So historically, where did the name Jesus come from? It came from the Roman Catholic Church. It came from Greek pagans. So how are Greek pagans going to tell you who or what to worship, how to worship, and what our Messiah's name and what the Father's name is? Make it make sense, because it doesn't. So how would he have a Greek pagan name when he was a Hebrew Israelite? He was a Israelite who spoke Hebrew. That does not make sense. And also, in the book of Enoch, YAHUAH again talks to Abraham and tells him about how his name is sanctified, and he sends down the Hebrew language. So if the Hebrew language was sent down by YAHUAH to Abraham was, he was grown up. He had to learn the Hebrew language and teach it to generation to generation to generation. That language was dropped down, was given to Abraham from YAHUAH. So how are we going to change the name when YAHUAH even brought down the language? He even brought down his name. So who are we to sanctify that? And if you look in the English language, this Greek language mixed with, it's all witchcraft. Breakfast, television for the TV. I mean, I can't think of anything else right now, but it's a long list. Like, it's literally witchcraft words. This is a Babylon. This is Babylon. We're in Mystery Babylon. Literally, if you think English, Spanish, Korean, all they're Babylonian languages. Religion came out of Babylon. Language came out of Babylon. These systems came out of Babylon. This doctrines of Jesus and the Trinity, Babylon. That lawnmower really killed my train of thought. But it just does not make sense. It doesn't. I mean, we have this right here. You cannot take the word and make it into your own doctrine. You cannot do that. And that's what I see a lot. I forget what else I was going to say, but yes, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this little study with me, and I want to do like more deep in depth, and maybe I will do that with you guys. I mean, I really was having fun and enjoying this until that dang lawnmower came. Like, I had things on my mind. I stopped the video and then just waited for it to be done, and then got back up here. But historically, when you look at the historical standpoint of where that name Jesus came from, it's got nothing to do with any of the forefathers in the scriptures, none of the 12 patriarchs, not Abraham, not no one in here. And if we are supposed to walk like Yahusha, but you're following Jesus, who says you're saved by grace, you're not underneath the law. People like to use that too of Paul, and they don't even understand what Paul is talking about. He is not talking about the Torah. He is literally not talking about the Torah right there. If you read more in context, he is talking about the law of life and death. He is talking about deep laws, because this would make sense for him. Oh my God, you don't even understand what Paul. It would make sense for Paul to be talking about that after what he just saw. Like, Babylon was literally taking over. But anyways, stuff y'all don't understand. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy that, and if you have any questions, or you guys want me to put the verses, below, or anything, any questions, just let me know. I hate answering questions and talking to people on social media, but I will do it for you. It's just such a drag, honestly. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys can see my point of views. Let's do it again. Let me say my reasons again. And I'm gonna put the number 4 with the historical, for number 2. They're two different persons. They both say different things. And they both say different things. They're two different persons. They both say different things, and their appearances are different. 2 is, one says they're God, one says he's Lord, and the other one says he's the Son of God and sits at the right hand side of the Father. 3, YAHUAH sanctified his name. He sanctified it. Man cannot change the name. So how are we walking around with a man-made changed name? And saying that, it also says that you cannot, mess with the scripture, add or take away. 4 is the historical points of where the name Jesus comes from. It's a European Greek pagan name. How would he have that name? And if he would come in his father's name, it changes the whole name, because Jesus does not mean the same thing that YAHUSHA means. YAHUSHA means YAHUAH is salvation. So when you are praying to Jesus, saying these things to Jesus, Jesus is my Lord, praying to Jesus, who is Jesus? Who is he really? Looking by the fruit of what I gathered, he says you don't keep the law. He says he is Lord. And it's a name that doesn't come in the Father's name. It's a Greek, Roman, pagan name. It's not an Israelite name, and it's not in Hebrew. The name isn't sanctified. It's man-made. It's not sent down here by YAHUAH. And it's a widely known name. Christianity, Catholic, is like a really big religion. Like, it's the #1 religion of the world. And YAHUAH says his name will be forgotten. He says his name will be forgotten, and his name will be taken for Lord, substituted for the word Lord, Baal. It says his name will be forgotten, but it says his name will come again during the end times, when the dry bones start waking up, and the name YAHUAH is being heard again. YAHUAH, YAHUAH, YAHUSHA, YAHUSHA. I'll leave it at that, and I hope you guys, because I could keep going on and on and on about, what has been said in the scriptures. And you guys, look. And I am only right here. This has, I'm right here. I'm in Samuel, and, it's clear as day. Like once I started reading from the beginning again, like the second time, I got to Numbers and I was like, everything is a lie. Like, and I was not reading from this. I was reading from like the newest versions of the scriptures, the NIV or something like that, the new translation. I was reading from that. So yeah. And if you look in those too, like in some of my scriptures, in the other one, like scriptures were missing, like where you have to fast for deliverance. It was that verse was taken out. Now that's important. Deliverance, fasting, very important. I've been reading the 12 patriarchs, and fasting is very important for deliverance. And YAHUSHA himself saying that you need to fast for deliverance. But anyways, I'm gonna go, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was so great. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do not be negative. Please do not be hateful. If you have questions, let me know. Agree to disagree. Anyways, bye. Shalom.